Hey everyone, Tom here, and welcome to Maui, Hawaii. Today I'm going to be flying the PMDG 777 to Chicago O'Hare International Airport. I'll be programming the FMS for our long haul, performing a flaps 20 short field takeoff out of Maui, and going over some ETOPS procedures with the FMS. Be sure to stick around, and I hope you guys enjoy the flight. Hey guys, what's going on? Tom here, good morning. We're going to go ahead and get this flight configured and get our return trip from Kahului, Maui, Hawaii, over to Chicago O'Hare. So we're sitting in the PMDG 777-300 right now at Maui. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to kick the storm lights on so I can actually see a little bit better, and we'll just get our hydraulic panel configured. Seatbelt signs can stay off. We'll kick the logo light on because it is nighttime, and I do have to turn on our flight data computers so that those can get loaded up. Give that a couple of seconds to get configured, and in the meantime we can actually get our flight plan loaded in. So if you guys don't use SimBrief, or you're not familiar with SimBrief, I highly recommend it. It's the easiest way to get a really good dispatch report and a route and be able to load it into your system. This is why it's beautiful. Once you have SimBrief and you download the route and then you load it into your iPad over there, you have the ability to do this beautiful little feature. Once you hit this request button, your route is going to be right here, and it's automatically going to know the payload and the fuel, and you can set them right from there, and then you can select that route and it'll preload all of your route legs right into the FMC for you. So we'll go ahead and get our departure input, which we're going to be going off of runway 20, which is kind of different for Kahului. And then our arrival into O'Hare is pretty standard. It's just going to be the Banky 6 for 27 center. So we're going to take off, circle, cross the VOR, and then proceed direct to our point. Let's get our performance data put in. So look at it, already lets us accept or reject our performance data. So it preloaded the reserve fuel, the initial cruise, and all that right off of the flight plan. So I don't have the flight plan up on screen, it's on my second screen, but 350 is the initial altitude, and that reserve fuel does match, 15.4. So I'm going to go ahead and accept that, and the only thing I have to do now is load the zero fuel weight in, and we're good to go. And then to get back to the FMC to get our V speed, so V1 is 144, VR is going to be 146, V2 is 158, and it matches what the FMC actually calculated, so that's good too. So the only other thing we need to do is set up our MCP panel to match everything that we're starting off with, so I'll get our V2 in there at 158. We'll do a heading of 204, and then our initial altitude of 35,000 feet. I'm just going to climb straight up. There's no air traffic control on here this morning, so nothing to worry about on that end. That's going to be an LNAV and a VNAV. RTO for the auto brakes. Okay, beacon light can come on, seatbelt sign can come on, our fuel pump switches can go live. Pretty much ready to go.
Ready for pushback. Release parking brakes, please. It's commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Go ahead and start our left engine. Okay, the left engine's good. Let's fire up the right engine.
Please set parking brakes.
Alright, parking brakes are set.
Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
A good engine start.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear.
Flaps 20. Go ahead and get our taxi lights on. We'll kick off the storm light. Let's taxi runway 20. Want to make sure we maximize our space, so I'm going to kick all my lights on real quick. That way I can see this thing the best for a nice turnaround. Okay, well, let's get rolling here. Alright, that looks good. Thrust ref. And we're off.
Airspeed's live. $80 knots.
Okay, 80 knots. Yeah, how quick we're getting to our V speeds. V1.
Rotate. V2. Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. Okay, we'll intercept the VOR and then we'll turn right and head out over the ocean. Then we can get back to our regularly scheduled acceleration height, 6,000 feet. Flaps 5. Flaps 1. Flaps up. We don't have to do a high-speed climb, which is nice. Alright, anyways, let's look at our after takeoff checklist. We're all good there. And descent is next. Cool. As we climb here, the only other thing we can really do is start getting our ETOPS information input. So let's work on that. This is the SimBrief flight plan. If I go over to the maps, you can see the ETOPS. You can see the ETOPS airports, or the ETOPS rings. So our first alternate is Hilo. We're going to enter ETOPS right here. Our equal time point between the two, which is VBG, Vandenberg, is right there. So anything before that point, we go back to Hilo. Anything after it, we go to Vandenberg. We exit ETOPS there to LA. It's another alternate. All right, we just hit 10,000 feet. We're accelerating to 320. So how you enter this in, it's on the flight plan. If you scroll all the way down past the flight log section, at the very end of it, you'll hit the ETOPS critical point information. ETOPS rules, 180 minutes. Critical point for fuel requirements is right there. And then here is our entry point. Here is our equal time point. And then here's our exit point, latitude, longitudes. So we're gonna key those in. The other thing we can do is for situational awareness. But yeah, we can make these range rings around our airports. That's like the 180-minute range ring. Basically what that says is this airplane can fly 180 minutes on one engine. That's what its rating is. How you do this is basically in the fix page, I'll enter in this latitude and longitude as a fix, and it'll put it on my flight map so I can denote the entry point, I can denote the equal time point, and I can denote the exit point. The other thing you can do too is actually put the airport in and draw the range rings off of it. Let's go to our fix page and we're going to put in our, well, here we can do two things. We can do PHTO, and I can set up a 450, and I can also set up the 1077. And then we'll put in our entry point, which is north 2359.3, west 14825.0. So we're not going to do anything there. And then next I can do our equal time point, which is going to be north 2818.2, west 13745.9. It's technically doing Vandenberg is the exit, but I'm going to do a 10,049 ring off of LAX. But that's pretty much how you configure the ETOPS in your FMC FMS. The other thing you can do is you can actually program your alternate routes or your Route 2s so that you have lines showing what your alternate airports are. I don't personally do that part because this is good enough for my simulation real-world experience, I guess you could say. Now we're just in a dark abyss. Go ahead and switch on weather just in case, and we'll keep this zoomed out as far as we can.